Coming up this afternoon, Ghana retains position in Africa as the most highly indebted country to the International Monetary Fund as the country's loan to the fund shot up by 35.5% in the second quarter of this year. And cement manufacturers describe ban on new entrants of the product by the Trade Ministry as a prudent move to deal with excess supply and promote industry integrity. Also in the bulletin, Ghana Statistical Service to release data on Ghana's dependency on imported food into the country in November. I am Beverly Broom. We settle for details now. And Ghana retained its position in Africa as the most indebted country to the International Monetary Fund as the country's loan to the fund shot up by 35.3% in the second quarter of this year. According to the fund's quarterly finances, the country's outstanding loans to the Bretton Woods institution stood at 1.689 billion special drawing rights at the end of July 2023, equivalent to $2.227 billion. The following report has more.
This is 451 million SDR higher than the 1.246 billion SDR recorded as of April 30, 2023. Ghana received $600 million as a bailout package from the IMF in June to revive its economy after going through fiscal challenges. According to the report, the country's loan outstanding to the fund is 9.55% of Africa's total of 17.68 billion SDR. Crucially, Ghana had repaid 8 million SDR, equivalent to $10.55 million, to the IMF. The nation's loan exposure to the Bretton Woods institution is classified as concessional lending with low interest financing. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Kenya also maintained their second and third positions respectively in Africa, with the largest outstanding loans to the fund as of July the 31st, 2023.
That was a Business Desk report. Now, cement manufacturers have described the ban on new entrants of the product as a prudent move that would deal with excess supply and promote industry integrity. The Trade Ministry last week announced that it has suspended the issuance of licenses for construction of new cement factories and bagging of the product. The manufacturers maintain that the action will also promote the integrity of the industry. Reverend Dr. George Dawson Amwa, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers.
With the cement industry is that players are not being compliant to the regulations that are set in the country. Regulations are being abused, and this has been very rampant of recent days, as we have a lot of investors coming in. If you look at the motive behind having, the rapid, springing up of cement factories, you even wonder. Because if you look at the cement market, the installed capacity is far, far more than the consumption. So the question is, what motivates investment or investors to come in? This is a country where installed capacity of cement players exceed far. There is surplus. So what really motivates one into still just penetrate the market despite this market situation?
You heard the Reverend Dr. George Dawson Amwa. He is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has announced that it will in November release data on Ghana's Food Dependency Index on imported food. This, according to the service, will clearly show the type of food that is heavily imported into the country to feed the country. Providing some details, Government Statistician Professor Samuel Kobnei-Nim said the data will be used to advise government on which food production are to focus on as a nation.
In the first release that we did on the trade vulnerabilities, we focused on the aggregate level in terms of our major exports and our major imports. In the release that we're going to do in November, we're going to come up with some indices, specifically the food dependence index relative to what we import. And this is the kind of things that if we narrow down on specific commodities, we can work collaboratively with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. They give us the data on the production, the yield, and we, through the Customs Division, we give information on the extent of import. And then given issues like the seasonalities, the weather that we have, we ask ourselves whether wouldn't we be better off focusing on some products that we can easily produce in the country. So let's look up to that report that will give us a sense of our food dependence from an import point of view based on our trade vulnerability report that will come out in November 2023.
Government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina Enim. Moving on, economist Professor Peter Quartey has criticized Parliament for relaxing the Fiscal Responsibility Act to allow government spend beyond the 5% of previous year's revenue without any timelines. Speaking on Ghana's public debt management at a development dialogue by the Institute for Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey said Parliament has failed in checking government spending.
Rules and regulations. Once you give somebody a blanket check, he behaves the way he feels is right or behaves very selfishly. Now, we had a fiscal responsibility law, which during even Bank of Ghana's Act didn't allow the bank to lend more than 5% of its previous year's revenue. But because of COVID, we gave some leeway, we suspended. My disappointment is that the suspension didn't have a timeline. It was a blanket check. Parliament should have said, look, for this year, we are relaxing it. Next year, come, let's negotiate. Let's see what allowance will grant to you. So for me, it surprises me to hear Parliament saying they are going to pick it. I think we should also pick it at Parliament as citizens. They have failed us.
You heard there Professor Peter Quartey. Now, the Association of Ghana Industries has questioned Ghana's preparedness to participate in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. According to the president of the association, Dr. Humphrey Eyim-Dake, lack of capacity of many local industries to meet standards and compete with peers on the continent could derail expected benefit from the initiative. He feared that unfavorable macroeconomic factors and the lack of value addition has stalled the growth of the country's industrial sector. He called on government to support local industries scale up. He's been speaking at the 2023 AGI Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition.
While finding pathways to deepen our industrialization drive in this 3-day summit, it's my wish that we explore ways of attracting investment to quickly develop the raw material base for what we do, what we process.
We apologize for that bad sound there. Now, economist Dr. Ishmael Yamson is urging small businesses and individuals to be financially resilient and make prudent choices. According to him, the current economic situation will have dire consequences on the finances of any business that engages in unnecessary spending. He was speaking at a public lecture to mark the 5th anniversary of Academic City University College.
The next thing to do is make strategic choices of how you can, as an individual, remain relevant and prosperous. And you should be flexible in the choices you make. First, you have to ensure financial resilience. And if there are hard choices, ensure that you protect your finances and stop spending on things that take away money from you but do not deliver value. Whether you are a small business or a student, this is crucial. Second, remain relevant and make prudent choices.
That was economist Dr. Ishmael Yamson. Now, for your pension tip on Money Lab, let's now hear from Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pensions Trust, as he continues to share tips on how to effectively monitor your pension contributions.
Hello and welcome to Money Lab. My name is Kofi Poli, Chief Operations Officer of People's Pension Trust. We are still on our pension tidbits on Money Lab. Today, we are going to give tidbits on how to continuously monitor your pension plan. One of the things you want to do, and it's very key, is to ensure that you have been registered under the scheme. So for example, if it is tier 2, you must make sure that again, you have been registered under the scheme. Please don't wait for the corporate trustee to bring you your statement. Quarterly, or even if you can, monthly go check your statement. But that is where you notice that there are gaps in it or everything is fine. The important thing that you must ensure that there are no gaps in it, and don't forget that this could take about between 15, 20, 30 years for you to be paid your accrued benefits. And therefore, when there are gaps, at that stage, it becomes very tedious and cumbersome to get your accrued benefits. Thank you once again for joining us.
Chief Operations Officer of People's Pensions Trust, Kofi Poli, ending the Joy Business Report, brought to you by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Do follow us on all our social media pages, including LinkedIn. The EcoBank salary account is a special account designed for workers of all income brackets desirous of receiving their salaries through EcoBank. With the EcoBank salary account, you're guaranteed all the benefits of a normal savings or current account, plus many more. EcoBank salary account gives workers free life insurance cover of up to 10,000 Ghana Cedi, 24/7 access to cash and e-banking services, internet and mobile banking services, high interest on savings, no minimum balance, ability to save through the EcoBank Save As You Spend, a unique feature that helps customers to save and invest. Remember, the insurance policy covers death, permanent or temporal disability, critical illness, hospitalization, retrenchment, and more. Savings or current account holders at EcoBank do not have to close their existing account to enjoy the numerous benefits of the EcoBank salary account. Just ask your branch to switch your existing account to the EcoBank salary account. Non-EcoBank account holders should approach any EcoBank branch and ask for the EcoBank salary account. Switch your account today and enjoy amazing benefits at EcoBank. Call EcoBank toll free on 0800 003 225 wherever for further details. EcoBank is the Pan-African Bank. I'm Beverly Broom. Thanks so much for your time. Ignition is next. Do enjoy.